Here is the fifth and final video of my summary of Decolonizing Palestine by Mitri Raheb. Finally, we get to dig into some of his theology. I want to share a long excerpt, so I'll just get right into it. But basically, Raheb is connecting the history of Palestine to Jesus's Beatitudes, particularly, "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land." For a long time, I thought Jesus had been mistaken. The Israeli settlements that ring the West Bank made it obvious that empire has inherited the land. But Jesus had wide-angle lenses and looked at history from a long-term perspective. For people in the time of Jesus, the occupation began with the Romans. Jesus had a far greater understanding of the history of Palestine. He looked at 1,000 years at once and saw a chain of empires. The first was the Assyrian in 722 BC. The Assyrians were replaced by the Babylonians in 587 BC, who were pushed out by the Persians in 538 BC. The latter were forced to leave by Alexander the Great. Then there were the Romans. 2,000 years after Jesus, we can continue to recite the list of empires who ruled Palestine. The Byzantines, the Arabs, the Crusaders, the Ayyubids, the Ottomans, the British, and finally, the State of Israel. We have been trained to naively connect Israel today with the Israel of the Bible, rather than with this chain of occupying empires. If we focus on the latter, the words of Jesus make perfect sense. None of those empires in Palestine lasted forever. When occupied people face the empire, they are generally so overwhelmed by its power that they think that the empire will remain forever and has eternal power. Jesus wanted to tell his people that the empire would not last, that empires come and go. And when empires collapse and depart, those people of the land who prosper emigrate and seek to grow richer within the centers of empire. Who remains on the land? The meek, that is, the powerless. Some might disagree, insisting that the Israeli occupation is different. They say, "Look at the settlements. How can you claim they will be gone one day? Look at the wall. How can you say it will be dismantled?" The native people of Palestine, who lived at the time of Jesus and saw the military checkpoints set up by Herod the Great, could never have imagined that Herod and his empire would not be there permanently. Jesus was telling the Palestinian Jews that the Romans who had built those colonies would not be there forever, and Palestine would be inherited by the meek. This is a direct critique of the settler colonial practice of the Romans. This is not a cheap hope in a distant future, but a decolonial teaching. The moment he spoke these words, the empire lost its power over the people, and power was transferred where it rightly belonged, with the people.